worked extremely hard. I didn't give up. I had passion for something. I think that's kind of important as well. But find something you're passionate about, work extremely hard towards your goals, and great things will happen to you.
Episode 73, Stay Classy, Part 2. Here we go. Excited to have Mamba in the house today. Thanks so much for joining us, man. How you doing?
Of course, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. So I just wanted to ask you, first of all, like before we get into like some of the specifics of your background, one thing I noticed is that you said that, so you're 23 now, correct?
23.
And you started trading at the age of 16, but in the bio that you put in the background notes, you mentioned that you started making, I think, the really good money around the time you were 18. So sort of like what changed around that time for you that sort of like changed everything? Like what was it a single thing that you discovered, or sort of an epiphany you had, or like sort of what changed the game for you?
I think just doing it consistently.
Yeah.
I think the amount of times that I failed helped propel me into becoming successful. I think that with time, I think in anything you do in life too, but with time of just going and going and going and realizing that, I made this mistake here, I made this mistake there, learning from those mistakes, turning those mistakes into lessons, you're going to be good at something if you do it for that long. I think if you do anything for 2 years straight, you either at that point are going to realize maybe this isn't for me, or you're going to get good at it no matter what it is. So I think 2.5 years of just straight trading and trading and trading and trading. There was times I took breaks. I came off and I stopped for a little bit, did other things, tried to make money other ways. But to continue to come back and I had a passion for it too. I really loved it. The times where I would make money, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I would lose money. It was painful. It hurt.
Yeah.
But it made me better as a human being, as a man. And I just continued to push. And after about 2 years, I finally it clicked. I really pushed harder and harder than ever. I studied. I back tested more than ever. I spent sleepless nights just, going as hard as I can. And eventually it did click. Yeah.
It was like a breakthrough moment.
It was a breakthrough moment. Yeah.
What about 16, man, like not a lot of people are doing a lot of trading at 16. Like when everybody else around you is, partying or screwing around or whatever, or just, being in school, like what was it about you that was different? You're like, hey, I'm 16 years old, but that's not going to stop me. I'm going to start trading. I'm going to get into this industry. Like I'm going to be successful at this. What was it about you?
Yeah, man. A lot of people, especially at that age, 16, like you said, they are partying. They're still in school, having those high school moments.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. But for me, I think the biggest thing was I had a child at 16.
Mm-hmm.
So having a kid at 16 and realizing like, wow, I need to grow up. Like I can't just be a child. I can't be 16 no more because I have a child. I have something, that I have to
look after.
Pretty much look after and put my all into. So I think that's what really propelled me into becoming a great human being and working hard. My work ethic started to pick up. I started to watch people online and what they did, how they made money, look at different ways to make money. I started doing like yard selling and like buying and reselling, all kinds of different stuff. But overall, I did choose trading, and I chose to not go and party and do this and do that. I dropped off the football team, dropped out of school, chased money. Really, it was just chasing money at that point. It wasn't like I didn't have too many passions, which kind of sucked as a 16-year-old, but I didn't have time to have passions. I had to take care of a child. So instead, my passion was go get money, go get bread.
There was the real immediate demand of responsibility upon you placed on by fatherhood, and that changed your life forever from that point on.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what at that point, was it like a clear path into like I'm just going to learn this shit, I'm going to figure this out, or was there maybe a mentor or somebody that helped you get into it, or how did the transition to trading start?
Yeah, for me it was just like let me go get it, let me work hard, let me chase after it, and it was kind of like just me and my reflection. Really, I'd look in the mirror and be like, I have to go get this.
Yeah.
But there was never really nobody. I mean, there's people who motivated me, of course. I think even if somebody doesn't motivate you, something should motivate you. It could be a movie. It could be having a kid or some family member. But in terms of teaching me and like guiding me, there was nobody. It was more so like I looked up to this person, this person, this person. They might be, maybe Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street, or, an actor in this movie, Scarface, things like that. I would look up to things like that, or moments, but there was never a specific person who I like learned from and followed their path. Sure. But I also don't think that there's anything wrong with following someone's path. I think that there's a lot of ways to make money. People are already making money. If you can find someone that has already, paved the path, why not just follow it, try to make it better, do something in your own way and make money from that as well. There's nothing wrong with that either. But for me personally, I did pave my own path, and it did work out.
Yeah. And you grew up in LA, by the way, right? And you're
Yeah,
still
near
in
LA,
LA.
right outside of LA.
Okay. And just a quick little, we kind of jumped right into the questions, but a little bit of background info about you. As we said, you're 23, you started trading at 16, and now you have a family, you have 5 children, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you also, you have real estate, you have the other businesses as well, in addition to the trading stuff. But your principal endeavor is the MambaFX Trading stuff, which is recognized as a great crypto and Forex trader firm. And you offer fast investment transactions without legs or compromises. And it's based upon this idea of preserving principle and understanding of investment marketing. So talk a little bit about the business specifically and about like how you started this brand of MambaFX Trading and like sort of how that became successful.
Yeah, so I mean, MambaFX is just kind of like my nickname. I just started trading. The only thing that I have to offer in terms of trading anymore, because like I said, I have all these other businesses now. I live trade in the mornings. People can come trade with me live while I trade, and they can take my trades or whatever. But for the most part, I've been focused on growing other businesses. Been doing a little bit of Shopify. Been doing a little bit dabbling here and there in different things, trying to learn different things. But been doing a lot of real estate. Been buying restaurants, businesses like that, a lot of online businesses as well, running ads on those. So been making a lot of money a lot of different ways. But yeah, in terms of trading, I just trade every morning at 6:30. That's about it. Just trade US 30 and NASDAQ every
Yeah.
morning. New York Open. That's all I do in the mornings. Make most of my bread there, I would say, the most consistent amount of my bread. But then I go and I manage my other businesses throughout the day.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of discipline, man. Like you're trading in the morning, then you're managing other businesses. You're doing the real estate stuff. You talked about how you bought some restaurants and some other businesses as well. So, like, what's the discipline like for you? Like, how do you stay? Like, obviously, you have the motivation. You have kids. You have families to provide for, but at the same time, like, there's just you staying focused and disciplined on a daily basis, handling all that and not letting that pressure overwhelm you. Like, what's the mental process like?
I think it's just about having discipline, having just a certain level of discipline that is hard to achieve for anybody. I have a lot of discipline. I'm very dedicated, and I have what I like to call routines. So every single day I do the same thing, right? I do the same thing on repeat. I wake up, I get up, I go work out, hit the gym, make sure my health's right, come home. Well, first of all, I wake up and trade. Let's not miss. I always miss the trading part because I'm trying to it's not step away from trading, but I'm trying to not be known as the trader. But so I wake up, 6:30 a.m. I trade. From there, go to the gym, get my health right. After the gym, I then come back home, I'll eat, and then from there, I'll kind of just like take a look at all my businesses, look at my real estate portfolio, look at my investments, and kind of just go over where I'm at and how I can increase either the income that I'm getting or at least, just better some of my businesses for people who are, customers or things like that, right? So a restaurant or real estate, how can I get more profit per month on this? Why is this rental not doing so well, but this one's doing well? So let me do some research, okay? So I'll spend the first few hours doing that, and this is every single day. The only days I take off is Sundays. So after I do that, I will then, instead of just like what most people do is like they think of different ways to make something better and they think, but instead of just thinking, the next few hours I actually apply. So I'll take all those thoughts that I had and I'll apply it and see it, not just how I can make it better, but actually try to make things better. Because this is such a big difference between having, oh, I want to do this, or I think this could make it better. And let me actually put this into effect and then see what happens. Let's actually take this, let's, create samples out of it, and then let's see where things go. So I try to spend that next few hours of the day just perfecting or changing something that I think can become better, right? Because that's the goal, is to become better every day or make a business better than it was yesterday or last week or last month, and just continue to grow those businesses or whatever venture it is. So I'll do that for the rest of the day. From there, I mean, I have 5 children, so I try to see them as much as I can, whether it's going to baby mama number 1's house, baby mama 2's house, having them come in, whatever the case may be, go to Chuck E. Cheese, take them to Disneyland. I try to do a lot of activities with them when I can. So that kind of fits in between those 2 other sessions when I can. At night, I then go and I train boxing. Well, I have a coach come in. We train boxing around like 7, and then I'm pretty much just wrapping up.
Yeah.
Kind of, seeing how the day went.
Sure.
How maybe tomorrow can go better. And then from there, I'm going to sleep and running it back every single day nonstop.
Hey there, classy viewers. Thanks for listening to our podcast. We're dedicated to providing you with quality content that inspires and brightens your day, but keeping it classy can be expensive. If you enjoy our content, we're asking for your support for the podcast using the donation link in the description below. Donations mean the world to us, and even as little as $5 can make a huge difference in helping us make this podcast a reality. Plus, donors are added to our shortlist to be the first to receive exclusive offers on merch, extra content, and even chances to appear on the pod. Anything you can give would truly be appreciated. Now get back to enjoying the rest of the podcast, and as always, stay classy.
Well, you mentioned something interesting. You talked about like sort of that period of reflection at the end of the day, where you talked about, how could it have been better, how could it have been worse. Like, what for you is like the improvement process of like, you're good at trading from an early age, but you're always improving, you're always getting better. Like, what does that self-reflection process look like? Are you like, I don't know, you meditate a lot? Like, how do you sort of like self-reflect and sort of improve on the processes and structures that are already working for you?
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to just honestly just sitting there in your own peace. I don't want nobody around me, no kids around me, no women around me, no nothing. I just sit in my own peace and I just reflect and I think, I did this today, I did that today, and it was cool, it was great. But I think tomorrow I want to do this, and I think this will make this. I'll tweak this a little bit. Maybe I'll feel better mentally if I, don't have as much sodium today, or maybe my business will make a little more money tomorrow if I get on there and do a little Zoom call and talk to the people, things like that. So it's just really about not necessarily meditating, but being in that peace, being in that quiet zone where you can just really think and just kind of be in your own thoughts for a little bit. I think that's important. I think being by yourself is important too, because people around you they'll throw you off, especially if you're on like a set routine and you have somebody new in your life come in and, you have your area or your zone where you really just think about life and you reflect, and they come in and they talk and they want this to be done. They want to go do that. They want to do this. I think messing up that routine that you have it's not good to do. I think you should try to keep that routine as you have it. And then if you're going to create time for somebody new, or create time for anybody in general, whoever it is, have an area in that or a time throughout that day where you do that specifically.
Sure.
But don't let anybody ever come in your life and change routines you already have.
Yeah, like restructure everything.
Don't restructure nothing. You know what I mean? Because I'm used to waking up every day. I trade. I go to the gym. But I'm not going to have somebody come in my life or change something where it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to trade, and then I'm going to hang out with this person. I'll gym later. We'll switch it around. I mean, I think it's not good to do stuff like that.
You got to have like the non-negotiables, right? Where you're like, these are the things that are so important that I'm going to do this every day, no matter what, or who says what, or who does what. Like, these are non-negotiables.
Exactly. And I think you should keep that all in line each day. I think it's important.
Now, for MambaFX Trading, like, do you have any partners? Is it a completely solo enterprise? Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah, man. I got a big team. So I trade by myself. I'm just a trader. But when it comes to other ventures that I do, whether it's the housing or whether it's my online businesses, things of that nature, I got a team of about 50 people, a lot of overhead. I think it's important to have a team. I think you shouldn't do anything alone. I think it's important that you have people in your corner who can back you and help you. You're going to get overwhelmed, bro, especially running like 10 different income sources and all. It can get crazy. So I think it's important to have a team or have people who can really help you throughout that journey, because it's not easy. You know what I mean? I'm not a website designer. Yeah. I'm not a developer. I'm not someone who, can take photos of myself professionally and edit them. I can't edit my videos, the way that professionals can. I want everything to be top notch. I'm not going to go take a course and try to be as good as I can on editing videos when I can hire somebody who can edit my videos like top guys do. So I think it's good to have team around you. And if you can't afford a team, then you work with what you have. But eventually, if you're making good money, you should spend some of that money and allocate it towards a team and get people to help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's important. I mean, even doing this, man, I need a team to do what I do every day. Producer, got interns, we got marketing people. So it's all about the team effort. So one thing I wanted to ask you though is like, there's a lot of people out there who offer trading advice. There's a lot of people say, I have the secret or the secret sauce or whatever for trading, whether it's day trading or stocks or equities or whatever it is. Like there's always somebody out there who claims to have it all figured out, claims to like figure out something no one else has. But in an era of disinformation on the internet, where there's a lot of bad information, and there's also some good information, but there's also a lot of bad information, how do you think people should properly disseminate the bad from the good and recognize like the legitimate advice, the good advice from the bad advice when it comes to specifically the kind of trading you do? Like what is the kind of the starting point for someone's education in that area?
Yeah, it's a tough subject. It's a touchy subject too, because there's a lot of traders who will pretend to be great traders and not know how to trade, but are really good at selling the fact that they are great traders.
Yeah.
It's such a gray area, bro, because there's not a lot you can do. You have to just kind of just try things.
Yeah,
You
trial
know,
and error.
trial and error. Just teach yourself some things here and there. Take some advice from this person, that person, and put it together and figure it all out. But in terms of like who, what I mean, like there's just no right answer because
Yeah.
I can't even tell you. There's so much fraud in this world.
Yeah.
It's really hard to determine, oh, this person's legit. This person, they're so good at hiding it, bro. And not a lot you can do, even in anything.
Do you feel like the internet sort of aggravates that problem, or?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Internet's a beautiful thing. You can make a lot of money because of the internet, but at the same time, you got to understand that with good comes evil, and there's a lot of evil on the internet. There's a lot of negativity on the internet and a lot of negative things that happen on the internet that can affect you in a negative way. But at the same time, with anything good is going to come bad, right? Same thing when the internet first came out. It was like, oh, it's amazing. You can do this, this, and that. But now there's cyberbullying. There's, spreading of things that you shouldn't see. There's online drug sales, things of that nature. So, AI is coming up now too. AI is great. It can help us with a lot of different things, but at the same time, it can become very dangerous in a lot of different ways. I don't mean robots attacking people or nothing, which hopefully we never get to that point.
Yeah.
But there's, have you ever seen like an AI like person talking that looks legit? It looks like, damn, that's a real person. Or AI generated photo. These things can be dangerous. At the end of the day, like, how can you determine what's real and what's not? We're going to get to a point where it's what's real. And people can make a video of me saying a racial slur that I've never said, post it, AI generated, and I'm going to go through a lot for it. And
I feel like all that stuff's already happening to some extent.
It is. And it's there's certain things you can tell, right? There's little things. Okay, this AI generated, the hands aren't right. This ain't, you know what I mean? But it's going to get to a point where it can get very dangerous very quick. So
do you use AI in your own businesses or not really?
I do a little bit, not much, but yeah, a little bit here and there.
Okay. So one thing I want to ask you is like in terms of the strategies that you actually teach people, and not that we're going to ask you to spill all the sauce here because we want people to sign up for the course and do it, but like what are some of this unique, like what's unique about the trading strategies and advice that you offer through MambaFX that sort of differentiates you from, say, like, if I Google like trading advice, like, but what you do is something different, something unique that's obviously working. So like, what is that you can share that differentiates the strategy?
So for me as, Mamba the trader, I just keep things very simple. My strategy is very simple. And also my strategy is free. I don't charge for no teaching of any sort. Just go to my YouTube channel, MambaFX. You're going to see how I trade. You can also I have an entire course for free. It's literally all free. I don't charge nothing. Like I said, I'm trying to getting out of the trading niche. I'm still going to trade, but I want to be known as a trader online. So I just give it all for free at this point. And I've had some pretty crazy success stories. I think a lot of people who have taken my course or have literally taken my course because it's free, you just take it. I think they've had really good results, better than anybody's ever. That's why I've grown so fast too, because I've always given free content. I think that people realize that, like, not only is he giving free content, but it's 100 times better than all this paid content. So people mess with me because of that. They love me because of that. I'm respected because of that. And, I just keep things simple, really easy. And people, they see that.
So, I mean, at this point in your life, you've already made millions from the trading and stuff, but you also at the same time, you're giving back. It's not even just about you, but it's about, you're offering this free advice, this free information to other people that empowers them to do what you did. Like, sort of what motivates you in the direction? Is it just like you sort of want to give back to the community, give back to other people in your position, or like, what are the motivations?
Yeah, growing up, I've always wanted to be an entertainer. I've always wanted to be famous. I've always wanted to change lives and motivate. So for me at this point, I just want to continue to motivate. I want to continue to show people that they can also get, things that seem unachievable. They're anything's achievable in life if you just work extremely hard. And maybe like, you really want to be a boxer, you really want to be a NBA player, and you're not tall enough for that. I mean, that's different. Outside of the realm of things that are just not going to happen for you, anything in life can be achievable for anybody. I think that, I like to remind people that. I like to motivate people and let them know, like, you can achieve anything you put your mind to, but you have to put your mind to it. You can't just sit back and do nothing. You have to actually work hard. I didn't just wake up one day and I was just rich. I worked extremely hard. I didn't give up. I had passion for something. I think that's kind of important as well. But find something you're passionate about, work extremely hard towards your goals, and, great things will happen to you.
Yeah. And I feel like your circumstances would have been challenging for anyone. I mean, having a kid at 16, that's a challenging situation.
Of course.
But you actually used that to fuel you towards success, and that actually became like that sort of I don't know if chip on your shoulder is the phrase, but it's sort of like this driving force of like, I can't fail because I have these people counting on me like for my success. It's not even just about me anymore.
Yeah.
So that was like a second source of inspiration for you.
Yeah, I think having something to motivate you is really important in life. I think you should find motivation through whatever it is. Like I said, it could be family, it could be a child. If you don't have motivation, go create a child. Just find a random woman, impregnate her, and have a child. There's no reason not to. Give you some motivation or something like that. But no, on a serious note, like, yeah, motivation is key in anything you do. You want to work out, you want to get in shape, or you want to become financially stable, whatever the case may be. Motivation is what drives you to go and get it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. If you're not motivated, you're not going to work hard enough to get it.
Now let's talk about one of the greatest motivators of all time, who I think is somebody that we both have a lot of mutual respect for, which is Kobe. Now, the Mamba, Kobe Bryant wanted to leave a legacy on people, and he did. Before he died, even. And I hate it because it's like, if he hadn't passed away, I like to think about what he would have still been accomplishing. But during the 41 or 42 years of his life, like Kobe, on and off the court, had this impact of the discipline, of the legacy, of the work ethic that was unrivaled in his time. And I think, like, people can talk about greatest of all time. I don't think anybody's ever outworked Kobe in the NBA. Talk a little bit about that Mamba mentality, how that sort of like translated to you, and how so you took that seriously and translated that into your own field of success.
Yeah, so I've looked up to Kobe since I was a very young child. It's not just Kobe because I was a Laker fan and, he's one of the best. It was the Mamba mentality, the mindset, the always becoming better than you were the day before, always working harder than you did yesterday. Like, you can always become better. So I did this today, I did that today, and I feel good about it. Let's say I made 40 grand today. That's cool. But tomorrow I can make 45 grand, and the next day I can make 50 grand. Even if I don't, I know that I can. So let me at least try my hardest to get better. Let me try my hardest to become better than I was the day before. And that can be the week before, the month before, the year before. 2023 was great. I made millions and millions, but in 2024, I want to make hundreds of millions.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I actually achieve those goals? What can I do? And it's simple, just work harder.
Yeah.
As long as I work harder, I have a good chance of that. It might not happen. I might, something might happen. When COVID happened, maybe some businesses go out, things like that. But I'm going to make sure that I do what I can to work as hard as I can to put myself in the best position for things to become better. And I think that's really important. I think that's kind of how he always was. That's how he approached the game. That's kind of how he looked at the game of basketball. Every day he wanted to perfect something even more. He had a great fadeaway, but he always figured it could get better. So he'd work on it every day because it can. Anything can get better.
And I feel like one thing that Kobe taught too is there's like a kind of a price for greatness, right? Like there's a price we pay that way. It doesn't come just like easily with all the good things, with all the benefits. There's also a price that you pay there. And I always think of this story. I think I've told before on this podcast where they lost a playoff game or something, and he's after the game is over, he's in the gym shooting baskets even until they turn the lights out. And I just think of that like continual approach to self-improvement and perpetual self-scrutiny. That there's a balance there, right? Because you want to scrutinize yourself, you want to see how you can be better. Now you don't want to be self-derogatory, you don't want to tear yourself down, but there's a fine line there. Like, how do you sort of balance that of like, maintaining your confidence, maintaining belief in yourself at the same time, like having that perpetual Kobe-like ability to scrutinize yourself and see what needs to be better.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's good to not beat down on yourself. It's good to look at yourself and realize you could have done much better and understand that you can get better, but it's never good to just sit there and beat down on yourself too hard. Yeah. I think that the world does that enough to people. I think that we already take enough ass whoopings just being human, being men, just life in general can be hard. So it's okay to look at yourself and say, you got to do better and you can do better. And I know you can do better. Like, I have conversations with myself, as crazy as it sounds. I talk to myself more than I talk to anybody. I will look in the mirror and tell myself things like, you did great, but that, man, when you did this or when you said this on that podcast, that was stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do better. So let's sit here and let's work on some vocabulary. Let's figure out why I sounded so weird in that. You know what I'm saying? Little things like that, for example. But I should, I don't, and you should never sit there and be like, man, that was horrible. Just never do another podcast. Now that's
don't
different.
Let it become your identity.
Yeah, don't, man, you can't beat on yourself like that. Just, there's a difference between beating on yourself like that and, understanding that you could have done better and you're going to do better.
Enjoying this episode? Subscribe for more content on finding your own path to success. Every subscriber makes a huge difference to the pod, and we're grateful for everyone. And don't forget to throw us a classy like and comment too to let YouTube know that you're a fan of our stuff. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcasting.
Yeah. Well, I was reading this book recently by this guy, I think his name's Mark Minervarini, something like that. But he was like one of the biggest Wall Street traders of all time. He was talking about this idea of like, the winning mindset, and specifically how like when you make a mistake, there's like two ways you can approach it. You can be like, I'm just not good at this. This is not me. Like, this is not my identity. Or instead of looking at his identity thing, just be like, hey, like, that's just a one-time thing. I can be this person. People are always like, oh, I can't be good at this or I can't be good at that because I'm just not that kind of person. But actually breaking those assumptions, breaking those barriers, being like, oh, actually, I can be good at trading. That is my identity. I am good at real estate. I am good at math or whatever it is. Like all these things that we think we're just naturally not good at, but actually changing the dialogue from being like, oh, that's just not me to that can be me. Like those mistakes don't define you. So like sort of changing the identity mindset there, I think is really important.
I agree.
And now I wanted to ask you too, like, so for obviously the success you've achieved at this point, you talked about like wanting to make the, turn in the millions into the hundreds of millions of stuff, but like your legacy overall, like what's the long-term vision? I mean, at 23, there's still, hopefully like many, many decades left. And like, what are some of the big accomplishments that you hope to take down in the course of your career?
Yeah. So for me, like I'm I'm financially stable.
Yeah.
I've made millions and millions of dollars. I would like to say my children are set for life, but I think that there's still more legacy to create for them. So that's one thing that I always try to strive to do is create more legacy for them. I always say, man, when they turn 18, I want them to already be able to be worth $1 million. Now, not give them $1 million, here's $1 million, go have fun, because that's when stupid things happen. But instead, they're worth $1 million, right? They have businesses with my last name that they can run and that they will own and that they can create their own legacy with. I want, that's what I want for my children. Other than that, I want to be able to continue to motivate. I want to get bigger online. I feel like I've barely breached the surface of, how big I'm going to be in terms of, oh, that's Mamba. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy going out and being spotted. I enjoy that. I love it. And I want it to get even crazier to where it's like, okay, wow, everywhere I go, people are like, I love that guy. There's that guy. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get bigger and bigger and continue to motivate and just take over. So
yeah. What about for the, in terms of like talking about the legacy stuff? So you have a lot of pressures too that I'm sure you deal with just on a regular basis in terms of like, you're 23, you're already as successful as you are. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of negative pressure too that comes with that. Of I know you got kids and stuff, but most 23-year-olds, they're out there partying. They're maybe they're in the clubs or they're doing stupid shit. Like even a lot of people who go to college who know better. Like our early 20s are often a time of struggle and confusion and sort of coming to grips with who we are, especially as men. Coming to grips with who we are as men and like what's important and finding that stability in that center as a man. Like how do you sort of keep that and block out those pressures, those negative influences, maybe the friends trying to pull you in the wrong direction or whatever it is. Like how do you sort of block that out and stay as focused as you are?
I think it just comes back to discipline. It comes back to my children. I think that, making sure that they're good, making sure that they're set is just so important to me that I don't really care what other people are doing. Along the line or along the way, I've had a lot of people try to tear me down, and it may not have been on purpose. Friends want to go hang out. They want to go to the club. They want to go to the bar. They want to do this or that. And I got to say, no, I'm good because right now I'm focused. I haven't made, this amount of money yet, which I've said I would this year. Or, I haven't reached my full potential yet. And I know that even 6 hours, we go do this for 6 hours, that's 6 hours that I could have grinded. I could have actually put towards one of my businesses that aren't doing so well right now. So I got to just kind of just stay focused. Again, it comes back to just being disciplined. I've been doing this for so long now where it's like, I just love this shit. Like I love to just continue to make money. I have a passion for making money. I like to see my bank account go up. I like to see the value of my properties go up. I like to look at my net worth and watch it increase every day. And I'm so set on just, creating a legacy for myself, creating a legacy for my family that nothing else can really get in my way at this point.
Yeah.
Set my mind to something, I do it every single time. I used to be, one thing I will say, I used to be 230 pounds. Lost 70 pounds in about 3 months, which is like typically impossible, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? I documented it, I proved it, and I did it because I dedicated myself and I told myself I can do it, and I did it every single day. Every second of every day, I pretty much put towards that. Like every time I was like, oh no, I'm hungry, I got to eat this. No, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna work
That
out.
was 1 month, 70 pounds.
No,
Or three
three
months.
months.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
closer to 4 months.
Okay,
Yes,
but
yes,
still, that's
yes.
shit. I don't know if anybody I know has ever done that, but
It was great. It's basically not eating though. That's the thing. Is
it's like incredibly taxing mentally too.
yeah, I was dying, bro. Like my doctor said I have to stop at one point, but it was like I got this. I can do this.
Yeah.
Major calorie deficit. Like absolutely bare minimum calories, and then also doing cardio every day to where like your average calories is like net 500 a day, which is like that's basically nothing. It's enough to survive, and then just water.
Yeah.
It's like fasting. For people fast for like 42 days. I've heard of it, and they'll lose like 50 pounds. So similar as that. Yeah.
Well,
it was bad.
Big props. But I something you said there about your doctor, you know, who's telling you, man, you got to stop this. Like, I'm sure you had other people like, man, dude, this is too much. Like, I feel like there's a certain level of obsession that is required for greatness, to get to the point of a Kobe or, you know, whatever it is, like in football, like Tom Brady. People who are truly great, they tend to be very obsessive. Like, do you feel like when it comes to trading, when it comes to your businesses, that you have that level of obsession that sometimes other people around you might not even be able to understand, or they might be like, hey, like, why are you so crazy about this? Like, just relax, take a break, like work less. Like, but for you, it's not like that, because there is that obsession, because there is that sort of like natural addiction towards success. Like, talk about that obsession mindset.
Yeah, man, obsession. I think that's big. So if I want something in life, I don't just like, okay, I want it, let's go. You know, how can now? Like I get obsessed, bro. Like literally obsessed with it, where it's like I have to have this, right? And I just think about it all day, and it'll drive me nuts until I get it, no matter what it is. Absolutely dialed in, absolutely obsessed. I get aggressive about this shit. Like I get passionate about anything that I want in life, to the point where I'll do anything to get it. Do you know what I'm saying? So like when I was dieting or whatever and I was cutting weight, I wanted to get skinny. I wanted to have a six pack. That was my goal, was a six pack. There was the baddest women in the world, baddest bitches would come over, right? And I mean, just the hottest girls, man. And they want to, you know, cook brownies or do this and that. I'll just have one bite. It got to a point where it'd be a bite this damn big of a brownie, and I wouldn't even eat it. I couldn't, because if I ate that brownie, I'd be sick with myself the whole day. Like, I didn't need it.
Undermine you.
I didn't need it. And it was something so little. It's that little. It's stuff that small that realistically is not going to make a difference. But even if it's a 0.1% difference, it's a difference that I could have stopped. I didn't have to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I had a cheat meal or something like that, I'd be sick with myself. I'd be upset. I'd be mad. I'd be like, damn, I didn't need that. Like, I wanted it, but I didn't need it.
Yeah.
So I would literally get obsessed with things, bro, like really easy, especially just the cutting. I think that being so big and seeing the comments telling me I'm fat, you know, things like that, I think that kind of pissed me off a lot too. That was a lot of motivation, seeing other people who are in my industry, or, you know, they're entrepreneurs, just being so shredded and in shape, was like, man, I need that.
Yeah.
I want it now. I don't want to wait 6 months of working out. I want to literally get it now. So I got obsessed, and I took it to the extreme.
Well, I feel like some people respond to criticism very differently, right? Like for me, and I mean, it sounds like for you is the case. Like there's a level at which like criticism is almost like beneficial, because it like gives me something to work for, like work towards. Like, okay, like, you know, someone says you can't do this. Someone says that, you know, this is what's wrong with you. Like, but I'm going to prove them wrong, or I'm going to overcome that mental challenge to get to that place. So talk about like the right way to respond to criticism. Like how do you handle that?
Yeah. So, you know, anything you do in life that's, let's say, is good, right? Something that is positive to you is going to come with criticism. Typically, you're not going to be criticized for things that are just like whatever. Like it just makes, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing something right and there's a reason for people to hate on you, they will. You're going to get hate. Without hate, you know you're not doing something right. Or maybe you're just not online on social media, which I think everyone's on social media at this point. But if you're on social media and you're doing something positive for yourself, whether it's financially, physically, mentally, whatever the case may be, you're going to face criticism and you're going to receive hate. There's a level of, okay, there's hate here, and, you know, maybe somebody's saying something very offensive that, who cares? It doesn't matter. You just brush it off. But there's always a level of hate or criticism that has truth to it. And I think when there's truth to the criticism, and maybe there is something that you're slacking in and somebody points it out, maybe they're a little too aggressive with it, it's okay to read that comment and think to yourself, okay, maybe they're right? If I have 4 or 5 people saying the same thing, okay, they're not just saying that for no reason. There's probably a reason for it. So then it's time to reflect, look yourself in the mirror and understand why they're saying it. And if it's something that's worth changing for anybody, right? If it's something that makes you happy and it's something stupid like, oh, you're a little bit overweight and then it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? Live your life, be happy. But if it's something that you can change, that's going to benefit you even more, and you realize that it's something that maybe isn't the best for you and they're just pointing that out, well, then yes, reflect and figure out how you can change those things. But don't do it for them. Do it because all they did was help you realize it's something you needed to change.
Yeah.
Not for them, though. That's
Yeah,
not.
well, I think that's the thing is like when you look at social media and you look at people who are trying to like impress everybody else, it's like it's like, dude, like you gotta want it for you, you know?
Yeah.
That's like the first and foremost thing, right? About
100%.
that successful mindset is like you gotta want it for yourself and not for these other people who, I mean, let's face it, dude. A lot of the people on social media, we don't even really know who these people are. Like
Faceless.
faceless. Like, dude, like it's like who cares about that? But it's like the people who are important in your life, yes, but also like for yourself. And for you, it seems like the weight loss stuff and sort of the transition into becoming this multimillionaire successful trader, like it was at the end of the day, like as much as you care about other people, you care about your family, like this was all for your own betterment and not because you were trying to prove something to some random person.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What about like the last thing I wanted to touch on is like the family stuff, man, like because you have this family, which is awesome, but that's a huge responsibility. And like you're 23 and you're killing it, but you also have this family to worry about. Like, I mean, is that like, how do you deal with that sort of specific like mental pressure and that like focus in terms of,
Yeah.
it's not just even about me and my success, which is hard enough, but because I mean, I don't have kids, but it's hard enough to think about like, your own success and your own goals, but then to think about all these other people who are very reliant upon you. Like, what is that pressure like and how do you handle it?
So there's not a lot of things in life or people in life who can genuinely make me feel any type of way mentally, whether it's depressed, sad, down, these negative feelings. But my children, not seeing them can be extremely hard. I can be out in public, I can see children, I can see people with their children and damn near break down because I miss my children. And that's one thing that can be extremely hard. Of course, having the motivation to do these things for them, it helps me. It makes me want to push harder. But I will say that, not seeing them because I have so many children spread across different mothers and things of that nature, it can be very difficult to balance it all. It can be very hard to find time, or I can find time, but maybe, they're in school or this one's not even in town. There's a lot of different variables that go into it. But again, typically in life, I'm pretty happy. I feel very good, but there's anything that can bring me down. It is not seeing my children for any period of time and, not being able to, I protect them to the most the best of my ability, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I provide their baby mom, or they're not their baby mamas. My baby mamas are very financially well off, extremely well off. They make like NBA salaries. It's ridiculous, and they're good financially, but not being there every day, there's a level of like insecurity because I can't protect them physically. And I think that does drive me crazy. Every night when I go to sleep, I think about them and I wonder, like, are they going to be okay? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to be safe? Is someone ever going to try to break in or, all these different things, God forbid? That bothers me a lot. So I try not to let it bother me, but it does. And it can get very difficult. But, like I said, my biggest drive is also them. So it's one of those double-edged swords where it's like, coin, I love them and it hurts me not being with them, but it also feels good knowing that I'm providing for them the best of my ability and that I'm doing all that I can because of them.
I think that like at some point, and I don't know exact age distribution, but I think at some point when they're old enough, they would understand and appreciate that.
They will. One day there's going to, come a day where they grow up and they realize all that I did for them. They realized all of the times that I gave it my all and I set them up for the best future possible. And I think they'll thank me and they'll understand, like, okay, my dad, he was a superhero. He did everything he could. He worked his ass off for us. And we get to live a great life. They're going to look around and see a lot of other kids, or call them kids, but 18-year-olds that aren't as fortunate because their parents didn't work as hard for them. And they're going to be grateful.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the one thing I wanted to ask you as we close is like, you talked about like the monetary goals and leaving the legacy for your family and your children and setting your children up. But like at the end of the day, like when it's all said and done, when the book is closed, like, is there anything else like legacy wise, like you sort of want to be remembered for, acknowledged for specifically, that comes to mind, like anything at all?
Man, I want to be remembered as the guy who motivated, helped. He showed that you can get what you want in life if you work hard, because he did it. That guy worked extremely hard. He was there for his children. He was a good father, a good human being, very honorable, and just an overall great person, I guess. I don't
Love
know.
it, man. MambaFX, thanks for joining us today. Episode 70, what is this, 73 of the Stay Classy podcast. It's been a real privilege. Oh, one thing before we let you go is how can people find your information, get enrolled in the information that you have to offer, and take advantage
You
of
can
that?
just go YouTube MambaFX, Instagram MambaFX. It's just simply free content. I break down trades, teach you how to trade, teach you how to run other businesses, things like that. It's all free. You just find me anywhere. Google, doesn't matter.
Yeah, love it. All right, man. Hey, dude, really appreciate you doing
for
this.
sure, bro.
We'll run it back someday soon. But yeah, that's MambaFX, everyone. This has been episode 73 of Stay Classy Podcast, and that's a wrap.
This has been another recorded episode of Stay Classy Podcast with your host, Steve Wire. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, you can find all of our content at our website at stayclassypod.com. And thanks to our production sponsor and partner, MaxLux Media. You can find them at maxluxmedia.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Every subscription helps and goes a long way towards ensuring that we can continue to produce content for viewers like yourself. Thanks so much. Stay classy.